ceremony of the Makers Mela. Before we proceed further, may I request everyone to please put their phones on the silent mode. Thank you for your cooperation. I'm Megha and I will be the host for today. Welcome to the electrifying world of riddle, a flight of ideas and innovation. Riddle stands for Research, Innovation, Incubation Design Labs. So tighten your seatbelts because today we are not just going to talk about innovation, we are going to experience it firsthand. But why is riddle so important, you may ask? Well, in a nutshell, it's the epicenter of creativity, a hub where dreams become reality, and the only limit is the scope of our imagination. It's not just about gadgets and gizmos, it's about shaping the future one brilliant idea at a time. This podium where I'm standing today is made up of sustainable material cardboard by our partner Paper Shaper. So thank you Paper Shaper for supporting us. Yes, a huge round of applause for them. And it is really comfortable. So as we dive into the Makers Mela Expo, let's celebrate the spirit of riddle, the spirit of innovation, collaboration, and boundless possibilities. And now, we'd like to invite the students from the Somaiya School for the campus prayer. May I request everyone to please rise to the occasion?
पूर्णमदा पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यत्किञ्च जगत्यां जगत् तेन त्यक्तेन भुञ्जिता मा वृदः कस्य सिद्धलं मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् ॐ प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजिनीवती दीना अवीन्द्रवतु ॐ शोधयित्री सुनृताना चेतन्ति सुमतीनां यज्ञं ददे सरस्वती ॐ असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं कर्वावहै तेजस्विनावधितमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै सर्वेत्र सुखिनः सन्तु सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात् ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः.
Thank you, dear students. For the ceremonial lighting of the auspicious lamp, I invite our distinguished chief guest, Mr. Arjun Vaidya, Our President of Somaiya Vidyavihar, Shri Somaiya Sir, Vice Chancellor of Somaiya Vidyavihar, Professor Dr. V.N. Rajashekharan Pillai Sir, the CEO of riddl, Mr. Gaurang Shetty, and Mr. Amit Yadav for the lamp lighting ceremony. Deepam signifies knowledge. Deepam signifies knowledge. All our activities should be governed by the light of knowledge. As you all know, knowledge dispels darkness. We salute to the light which bring auspiciousness, prosperity and abundance. May the radiance of Deepam continue to guide us, fostering a culture of wisdom and enlightenment. Thank you to the esteemed dignitaries for illuminating not just the physical space, but the minds and hearts of everyone here. May I now invite Shri Bala Sahib Wagh Sir, who is the Assistant Professor at KJ Somaiya Institute of Dharma Studies, to recite an invocation in Sanskrit.
सरस्वती महाभागे विद्ये कमललोचने विद्यारूपे विशालाक्षी विद्यां देहि नमोस्तुते. सर्वेभ्यो नमो नमः. सर्वेषां हार्दं स्वागतं. सभागारे उपस्थितेभ्यः सर्वेभ्यो नमो नमः. मंचे विराजिताः सन्ति सोमय्या विद्याविहार विद्यापीठस्य कुलपतयः मान्यः समीर सोमय्या महाभागः, सोमय्या विद्याविहार विद्यापीठस्य कुलगुरवः मान्यः वी.एन्. राजशेखरन् पिल्लै महाभागः, मुख्यातिथिरूपेण उपस्थितः अस्ति अर्जुन वैद्य महाभागः, तथा रिडल सोमय्या विद्याविहारस्य निदेशकरूपेण अमित यादव महाभागः, तथा सभागारे प्राध्यापकाः, छात्राः, नवकार्यनिर्मातारश्च सर्वेषां हार्दं स्वागतं. शब्दसुमनैः सर्वेषां स्वागतं करोमि. मेकर मेला नाम नवनिर्मातॄणां सम्मेलनम् अथवा कार्यप्रतिभायाः सम्मेलनम् इति वक्तुं शक्यते. मेकर मेला इति एशियायाः बृहत्तमः मञ्चः अस्ति. एषः नवकार्यनिर्मातॄणां कृते अस्ति, तथा च विश्वे प्रतिभाशालिनः नवकार्यकर्तॄणां कृते एकः प्रमुखः कार्यक्रमः. ये बृहत्तरं विविधं च जनसमूहं प्रति स्वपरियोजनानां प्रदर्शनार्थं मञ्चम् अन्विष्यन्ति, तेषां कृते सोमय्यायाः मेकर मेला इति कार्यक्रमः. शताधिक नवनिर्मातॄणां मोर देन् हंड्रेड्स तेषां विचारान् प्रतिभाशक्तिं विपण्यं प्रति सुविधां ददाति. कला, शिल्प, अभियांत्रिकी, AR, VR, विज्ञानं, प्राद्योगिकी एतयोः मध्ये मेकर आन्दोलनस्य नाम डू इट योरसेल्फ, स्वयमेव कुरु इति आत्मविश्वासस्य एषः कार्यक्रमः. मेकर मेला निर्मातॄणां कृते मुख्यतया निर्मातॄणां कार्यप्रदर्शनार्थं ये ते निर्मितवन्तः तस्य प्रदर्शनार्थं विनिर्मितः एषः कार्यक्रमः. ये नूतनरूपाणि, नूतनानि प्राद्योगिकी अन्वेषयन्ति, तेषाम् एतद् आकर्षणं जिज्ञासूनां च सम्मेलनम् इति. मेकर मेला इति सोमय्या ट्रस्ट तथा च सोमय्या विद्याविहारस्य विश्वविद्यालयस्य एकः अनुभवः उपक्रमः अभिनवः उपक्रमः सोमया विद्याविहारस्य रिडल संस्था प्रतिवर्षम् इत्यस्य आयोजनं करोति इदं नवमं वर्षम् एतदर्थं विज्ञान प्रौद्योगिकी विभाग भारत सर्वकारस्य तथा महाराष्ट्र राज्यस्य नावीन्य संस्था द्वारा एषः उपक्रमः प्रशंसितः अस्मिन् मेकर मेला मध्ये 100 गणाः 100 ग्रुप्स शताधिकगणाः सहभागिनः सन्ति स्वस्य प्रतिभाशक्तेः प्रदर्शनं नवीनतायाः प्रदर्शनम् इति मेकर मेला कला शिल्प प्रौद्योगिकी जैव विविधता पर्यावरणं गेमिंग एआर इत्यादीनां विविध वर्गाणां स्वस्य अभिनव विचाराणां प्रदर्शनम् आगच्छन्तु पश्यामः मेकर मेला मध्ये प्रतिभाशक्तेः आविष्कारं धन्यवादः विरमामि
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us with your verses. Now, I'm delighted to invite Mr. Amit Yadav, the innovation catalyst at Riddle, to provide us with an insightful overview of Somaiya Vidyavihar and extend a warm welcome to all our esteemed guests. Let's welcome him with some excitement.
Hello everyone and warm good morning welcome to everyone present over here. I'm Amit Yadav and Innovation Catalyst at Riddle. I officially invite you to the official inauguration of the 9th edition of Maker Mela, which is the Asia's biggest platform for makers. It feels like yesterday when we started Maker Mela back in 2015 with the support and belief of Sri Samir Somaiya to support innovation and makers. From the humble beginning and a strong vision 9 years back, we dream of Maker Mela to be a global platform. We have supported over 10,000 makers plus over 25 countries, and we have grown from a team of just 7 people managing the entire event to now we're 1,000 people of innovators to part of this journey over the 9 years of Maker Mela. Let me show you a presentation of highlights of the makers and the riddle startup that have achieved over this year. So let me speak about Indra. He's one of the startup of Riddle who has been incubated in 2018 and he has grown to almost very big scale. He has recently raised a $4 million from Peak Ventures, Emerald Ventures and Mela Ventures, and now he's successfully deploying wastewater treatment to all the industries such as textile, biomedical, refineries and etc. Another startup is Save Mom, who is in the field of maternal healthcare for the woman, and he has been recently featured on the Amazon Prime Video Mission Startup. You can go and check out the show at Amazon Prime. Another startup who has been helping to the cancer patient to fight their journey towards the end. His startup name is StemTech, and his device is scalp cooling, Eva scalp cooling. And he has been recently featured on Shark Tank India Season 3, and Mr. Ritesh and Aman Gupta has been invested in that company. The startup has been here in that Maker Mela. You can go and interact with them. Pabibin is one of us makers in Maker Mela who has been really working for the women entrepreneurs to support and uplift the committee. You can visit and interact with her and see their journey, how they help women. And she also be featured on a movie called Sweet Aga and Shark Tank Season 2 and KBC. Another startup is the two young kids from my team, Anaya and Nabi. So they have been featured when we interact with the sheep the President or the Prime Minister of India, Shri Narendra Modi ji, at the global partnership of ASML. They have put up a small act, inauguration act for you. We will be seeing at the during the following session. Next please. Riidl has recently won the Best Technology Incubator Award by Department of Science and Technology 2020, which we received in May 2022. Next slide, please. These are the small impact that we have created over the past 8-9 years, starting from 2016. So you can see we have supported over 200 plus startups, 300 crore plus revenue we have generated from our startup companies, and we have supported 17,000 students, lifted 20,000 students with the workshop from their backward and underprivileged areas. Next, please. We have a list of experiences for the Maker Mela doing the Maker Arena. So like pitching session, we also organize a pitching session which is happening on 14th. We love to be you be the part of that pitching session with Dharmila, and few other founders will be coming and interacting with Indian founders will be coming and interacting with you. It's a fun learning experience to you all, and I would like if you can come and join the event. These are the few media coverage that we have we have received over the past 8 years. And by this note, I'm concluding my speech, and welcome to the 9th edition of Maker Mela. See you at the session at the arena, and hope you enjoy the Maker Mela this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Amit. No wonder we have children as young as 9-year-old who have participated in this event today. And we have, wide range of makers who have participated. I think we are completely amazed with the kind of impact Riddle team has had on the startup ecosystem. All right. Before I invite our Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor Dr. V.N. Rajashekharan Pillai, I'm deeply honored to introduce him. Professor Pillai is a distinguished luminary within the academic realm, with an illustrious career spanning over 5 decades. So let me say a few words. I think people don't know you. So let's welcome him with a huge round of applause.
I'm the Vice Chancellor of the university and also a teacher in the university, teacher and researcher in the university system for the last 52 years. First of all, let me congratulate Mr. Gauram Shetty for creating a vibrant atmosphere for innovation, incubation and design in the Somaiya ecosystem in Bombay. Let me also welcome all the makers. Of course, she mentioned from age 9 to 90. All the makers for this ninth Maker Mela function. It's my privilege to welcome the chief guest, Mr. Arjun Vaidya, for this function to give the keynote address. Our Chancellor, Mr. Somaiya, has been supporting this innovation and design initiative, startup innovation and design initiative, in a very unconventional way, looking at the opportunities for students in a big perspective, in a large perspective. There is no need of emphasizing the importance of startup innovation and design to an audience of this kind. If you just look at the history of startup initiatives and innovation initiatives, probably we will first land up in Silicon Valley, USA. There are also, of course, there is an Indian Silicon Valley in Bangalore. Bangalore also started innovations, particularly in IT and related areas. If you just look at Israel, you have a big, it is called a startup nation. Looking at agriculture, biotechnology in a very significant way. Germany. Of course, there are several initiatives like this. definitely we have model out of all these things, and it is very important for a country like it. We have to look at the growth perspective of this country. Agriculture, life sciences, related areas. This is going to be a very important domain for this country. Just 2 days ago, the country has announced the Anusandhan National Research Fund, 50,000 crores to industries. Specifically, this is for the first time 50,000 crores to industries is given for R&D by the ANRF, which is a new body, and the DST secretary is also the CEO of the ANRF. If you just look at the national education policy and the ANRF documents, you can see that startup and innovations are going to be supported in a very big way. This institution, Somaiya Vidyavihar, we have education institutions, we have research institutions, we have agricultural industries, bio-based industries, and we have a very strong stake in agricultural research and agricultural promoting the capabilities of the farmers in the country. And we have also institutions where we promote the Aboriginal art and culture of this land. Traditional artists, traditional creators. I think as a country, when it comes to startup and innovation, of course, Mr. Gaurang Shetty and his team is looking into it in a very, very focused way. We have to look at creative arts, creative design, looking at the people who are not at all educated. I mean, educated in quotation only, because I will not say they are not educated. They are probably, they do not know they are not in the formal system of education, but they are definitely educated. Lot of knowledge and skills associated with the ordinary people in the country. The other day, just 2 days back, I was in an institution in Rajkot. I was seeing students interacting, school students interacting with the artists and art makers in the country, traditional makers like those who are in the art and craft in the country, who are not educated at all. So we are also doing it, and it is very important that our startup and innovation system, the Maker Mela, will definitely look at opportunities for promoting agriculture in all its functions. I am sure our institution, like the one Agricultural Research Foundation, which we have, the Somaiya Vidyavihar, riidl, bio riidl, all these institutions will look at these opportunities also and try to provide ample opportunities for people from different walks of life, whether it be educated or non-educated, in bringing up using the creativity of the land and then designing new products and innovations which will mark the growth of this country in a very significant way. I wish the program all success. Once again, I congratulate all of you for the excellent exhibitions which you are going to make, and we will support the institution in a very big way. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. As I extend now invitation to Mr. Somaiya for his presidential address, I'm honored to offer a brief introduction. So I promise I'll be very brief, because there are people from everywhere who would like to know you. All right. So let's welcome him.
Thank you. I'm Samir Somaiya here. It's wonderful to be here. Our chief guest, Arjun Vaidya, thank you so much for being here today. Somaiya Vidyavihar itself is a maker space. Maker space, we want to make great citizens of India and the world. And in that sense, we are here to make great citizens of the country. नागरिक बनाने हैं बहुत अच्छे देश के और पूरे विश्व के. And as such, what kind of environment do we create to make this happen. And the vision was, there are two mottos that our founder, Padma Bhushan Karamshi Somaiya, Jnana Devatu Kaivalyam, yani liberation only through knowledge. And second, Na Manushat Paro Dharma, yani no religion greater than service to humanity. And putting these together, we're trying to create this education over here. What the environment. And the environment we want to create has to be one which is holistic. We want to teach students from the very beginning what are the timeless fundamentals of science, of the humanities, और what makes for हम कहते हैं जो व्यवसाय है, जो सोच है और जो चरित्र है, तीनों का आप किस तरह से अगर समन्वय अच्छा करेंगे तो उसी समन्वय के साथ आप इस देश के या इस विश्व के अच्छे नागरिक बनेंगे. That is something that we want to focus on. We want to teach. Today I was with somebody who he was a CIO for Nike globally. And he was talking about how he founded Nike. Of course, he is prejudiced because he's from Nike. But he said great sportsmen make for great leaders. I don't know true or false, but I like to play sports, so I like to think that that is true. But I think he talked about, so that's why we also want to create a campus which is good for health, good for sportsmanship, good for teamwork. We want to put a focus on culture, on community, of the past that we inherit and the future we wish to create. Our Vice Chancellor talked about the work the university is doing in climate change or mitigating climate change. The world as we have it, it is said we have to give it in a better form than we inherited it. And today, of course, we are giving to the next generations a more challenging environment. And so the whole world is how do we, if you want to create these maker spaces, we have to think about not only in the small and the large, the larger vision and the devil in the detail. That what is the world we want to create? What is the people we want to create? And all the things we do, how does it address, again, creating better citizens of the world and a better world? And I think that's the way I would like to think. And I think, in a sense, when Karamshibhai Somaiya created Vidyavihar, his whole idea was to create a maker space. A space where we create character, where we mold character, we create where people are built. So it's just nice. I think it is again the small and the large. It's a wonderful thing to hear that we also try to create a nice environment. We want people to appreciate nature. We want them to understand that we live in a world of biodiversity. And just nice news we heard that in the Ayurvihar campus, where we are also creating a very nice space for health. We just won 2 awards last week, which is, in Mumbai, the best out of the top 3 spaces given for the best gardens. In Ayurveda, where we started this only 4 years ago, the first prize and the third prize came to that campus. So I think it's nice to create these spaces as we go, as we build. Back to maker space, I would like to talk about how Gaurang, Amit, Bhavna is also there, hatched this whole idea together of creating a maker space. And I still remember growing up, for us, we joined either a company or a family business. The idea of starting up was there maybe long ago, and people is there, but I think now it's become an aspiration also that we want to try and start up and create startups. So the whole idea was how do we do this? Gaurang was very smart at finding space on the campus and finding collaborators on the campus to build the whole maker space that is there, and then collaborators outside the campus. So collaborators with the government of India, collaborators in the government of Maharashtra, collaborators in the community, whether it is with this wonderful podium that we have today that we are using, collaborators with, I think, schools of architecture, collaborators, and to find the whole, create this environment that we have today, the whole team that is there, and then the creation of BioRiddle, which Bhavna said, why do you keep science out of it, and the whole space that we are doing. Just like to say that we are talking about creating maker spaces in villages. And so we are identifying one place in rural Gujarat now, in a small village of 1,000 where the villagers have said, can we have a maker space? And we're trying to create stuff like that. And on this campus, I think we're dreaming of a place of excellence. And today, trying to create a whole new space of about 50,000 square feet, which will also be a place for these makers. So thank you so much. I think all of you for coming, and see you in big numbers outside and also next year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sami sir. I think we all agree. This is the place where we feel like entrepreneurs. Like I personally do, and I see a lot of people taking initiative, and I see that risk taking over here is encouraged, and mistakes are considered as opportunities for growth. All right. So now it's time to welcome our chief guest, Mr. Arjun Vaidya, who is a visionary entrepreneur with a deep passion for Ayurveda. So before I introduce Mr. Arjun Vaidya, can I request Sri Samir Somaiya sir to felicitate Mr. Arjun Vaidya? I would say this for everyone. This shawl is hand woven by students at Somaiya Vidya in Kutch. So, may I share a few words for Mr. Arjun Vaidya? Yes, thank you. Mr. Arjun, as he has a deep passion for Ayurveda. As a founder of Dr. Vaidya's, India's largest Ayurveda brand online, Mr. Arjun's journey began with a mission to modernize traditional healing practices. Arjun's entrepreneurial spirit was ignited during the time at Brown University, where he recognized the growing demand for natural and organic products. After gaining insights into the consumer landscapes and e-commerce industry, he founded Dr. Vaidya's in 2016. Hailing from a family with a vulnerable legacy in Ayurveda spanning over 150 years, Mr. Arjun's surname Vaidya itself translates to Ayurvedic doctor, reflecting his profound connection to this traditional healing art. Inspired by his personal experience of being cured of asthma through Ayurveda, Mr. Arjun embarked on a mission to modernize and revitalize Ayurveda for contemporary audiences. Under his leadership, Dr. Vaidya's quickly became a household name, reaching millions of consumers across India. Mr. Arjun's strategic vision earned him recognition on Forbes 30 Under 30 Asia list and Business World 40 Under 40 list. This is indeed phenomenal. Beyond business, Mr. Arjun is dedicated to mentoring and investing in the next generation of entrepreneurs. As a leader of venture investing for Worldly Invest through V3 Ventures, he empowers budding entrepreneurs in India's dynamic startup ecosystem. So today when Mr. Arjun visits your stall, you know who to impress. Mr. Arjun Vaidya's journey definitely exemplifies the power of passion and innovation. So please join me in welcoming the visionary entrepreneur, Mr. Arjun Vaidya. Loud hands together.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for having me. Sameer ji, Rajshekharan ji, Amit, and Gaurang, and obviously my good friend and senior from school, Sid, who actually invited me to be here. This is actually not my first time on this campus. I've come before to riidl and seen the amazing work that's been happening here, and so it's even more of a pleasure and an honor to be back in this space. I think Sameer ji was talking about sort of creation of excellence, creation of the right environment, and also blending and molding our past with our present and looking into the future. And so I want to obviously congratulate everybody here at the institution for creating an environment like this for makers, builders, and entrepreneurs to actually feel comfortable and at home. I know there was sort of mention about the amazing startups that have come out of this space. And I wanted to say that I was on the Amazon Prime show Mission Startup, and I saw the amazing work that GeoVio has done, and the amount of support that it got from this ecosystem to really get to where they've gotten. So I think ecosystems and environments of support, especially for the journey of entrepreneurs, is very important, because the journey is lonely as you're trying to create disruption and do something unique. You need as much support and ecosystem as you can. I'm going to tell you a story about my journey and how two things actually came together for me. One, a promise to blend sort of the past with the present and look into the future, taking forward India's culture and legacy. And the second, really the support and ecosystem around me in my family that really supported me to get to where I did. So Vaidya, my last name means Ayurvedic doctor. I come from a legacy of 150 years of Ayurveda in my family. So my grandfather, great-grandfather, and 3 generations before, all Ayurvedic doctors. The legacy of my business, Dr. Vaidya's, was actually not a business. It was an Ayurvedic clinic. My great-grandfather moved from Morbi in Gujarat and set up a small Ayurvedic clinic in a place called Masjid Bandar in Bombay. As was customary at the time, my Dada graduated from medical school, from Podar College in Worli actually, with a degree in Ayurveda, and took on his father's practice. At the time in the 50s and 60s, when he started working with his dad and eventually took on his practice, Ayurveda was viewed as second fiddle. At that time, what was Western was considered good and what was Indian was considered substandard, and so everybody looked to allopathy. And at this time, my granddad was able to build sort of a small practice which eventually grew into a reasonable practice. My grandfather was a man of service. He didn't care for sales, distribution, marketing or strategy. He only cared for healing his patients, and so consultation was free in this clinic, and you only paid if you so chose to buy the medicine that he prescribed, and that too at a very sort of nominal price. By the 80s, my granddad became one of India's most successful Ayurvedic doctors. On a daily basis in that clinic in Masjid Bandar, he saw 300 to 350 patients a day. He had 12,000 patients on a monthly basis write to him via post. And post, as you can imagine, was the e-commerce of the 80s and 90s. So it was something that had scaled to the maximum sort of extent that he could take it. In the late 80s, my dad graduated from HR college in Bombay, and he was not a doctor, he was a marketing person, he wanted to build a brand. And so he told my grandfather that what you're doing for thousands of people in your clinic, I want to take to millions of people around the country. At that time, FMCG brands, the large FMCG brands that we all know today, that are all household names, were just being built. And so my dad convinced my grandfather to take these products into distribution and to invest in marketing. You will know that doctors, lawyers, CAs, they don't lose money. They only make a little bit more, a little bit less. And so when my dad convinced my Dada to put products in distribution and do a TV campaign on Doordarshan, my Dada lost money for the first time in his life. And when he lost money the first time in his life and he saw his P&L at the end of the year, he told my dad, look, this thing is not for me. Either you work with me in my clinic or you go your own way. My dad said that what was the high of healing for my grandfather, of seeing and healing sick patients on a daily basis, was something that he found not so exciting. And so my dad went his own way and built a pretty successful business in the jewelry and watch space. But that's where my story sort of starts. I was born in 91. I suffered from juvenile bronchitis at age 2. I grew up with pumps, nebulizers, inhalers and steroids. I was the only kid who couldn't play cricket and football like my friends, and so I grew up playing golf and squash, and so I started playing football much later than most of my friends. And so when Sid makes fun of my football, the reason is I started playing only when I was 15. I was the only kid who couldn't have Coke, Limca, Fanta, Sprite or ice cream because that would jack my throat. And so asthma prevented me from having what I would call a normal childhood. I got an Ayurvedic treatment very early. My grandfather sort of took it upon himself to help me and heal me. And 14 years later, I was cured of asthma using my grandfather's Ayurvedic formulations and some yoga as well. So at age 15, when I got cured of asthma, what's the first thing I went and did? I had moved to a new school and I said, okay, I'm going to start playing cricket now because I'm allowed to play cricket now. I'm able to manage dust. Right? As you know, asthmatics suffer from serious dust allergy. So I started playing cricket. I went to school not so far from here. Did my IB at Dhirubhai Ambani International School, and this is a school not known for sports. Did not have a cricket team at the time, so we convinced a history teacher who liked cricket to become our cricket coach. I convinced 10 or 11 friends who were actually interested to play to join the team, and we started this team. We started practicing at the back of our school auditorium in what we created was a mini net. And I was definitely not the most talented player on the team. But at some point, the coach decided to make me captain of the team. Right? And I was surprised, so I asked him, I'm probably like 6th or 7th best on this team, so why did you make me captain? And he said, look, honestly, you're the only guy who came to every single practice. And I saw your sincerity and hard work, and so I said, at least this guy will be there at every game, so let's make him captain. And I think that feeling of showing up is something that I learned from seeing my grandfather grow up. Right? When I was really young, I remember this individual who would wake up at 4:45 a.m. every day, read for 1 hour books on medicine and Ayurveda, go play golf at Willingdon Club at 6:15 every morning, have the same breakfast, wear the same white safari suit with the same black shoes, the same pair of glasses and a 5 rupee red pen in his pocket, go to work in the same car every day, come back at the same time, have dinner in the same thali, watch the news and go to bed. And that routine continued for all the time that I knew him. So this feeling of hard work and sincerity was something that my grandfather sort of imbibed in me. I started playing cricket and I mean, our team wasn't so good. We played 4 matches in the history of our team. We won 2 and lost 2. But I think that feeling that I was able to play cricket again, and Ayurveda had actually allowed me to do this, made me start believing in the science more than just family legacy. I thought there was something more the science had to offer. And so I started spending a lot of time with my grandfather. I transcribed our family formulations from the scriptures to the computer. And in 2009, when I left India to go to college in the US, I made a promise to my grandfather that I will, at some point in life, take forward this legacy of Ayurveda. I remember writing my college essays on building a new age version of what my dada had. I went to college in the US in 2009, and I saw something very interesting in my first few weeks at college. My Dutch friend down the hall was teaching us yoga. And I found that very interesting. I found it cool that yoga was global and that there was yoga mats and yoga gyms and yoga apparel and Lululemon creating a multi-billion-dollar industry in the US. But what I didn't understand was Indian companies actually didn't have so much with the proliferation of yoga around the world. And so I remember calling my dada from campus and saying, it's amazing that yoga is global, but it's not so amazing that we haven't taken yoga to the world. And I'm a very patriotic person. I wear this band with the Indian flag on my hand. I've been wearing it for the last 13 years. And so I made this promise that I'll do something with the legacy. I came back to India straight from college. I didn't spend a single day after my graduation in the US. I came straight back to India. I started work in finance at a consumer-focused investing fund. Looking at sort of changes in the Indian landscape, in the Indian consumption story. And I think I saw a few massive changes from the India I left. So I grew up in the India of the 90s where we were obsessed with with imported products. I remember being gifted a Japanese electronic sharpener for my 11th birthday from a store that only sold imported products because what was imported was considered good and what was Indian was considered substandard. But I came back to a different India. I came back to an India where Indians were happy to consume quintessentially Indian brands. I came back to an India where the government had changed in 2014, the Ministry of Ayush was created, and everybody, including you, was interested in Ayurveda. The Patanjali revolution was happening, and new age customers were asking questions about Ayurveda. And I also came back to an India where e-commerce had just started. So in this India that I came back to, in this job that I was doing, and that promise that I remembered my granddad did, every entrepreneur has that one moment where the switch flips. All the macro may be supporting you, but there has to be a micro event. And unfortunately, that micro event was my dada's passing. My dada passed in 2016. And so I thought there is something I have to do to sort of take this forward. At that time, I was working in finance. At age 23, 24, I was earning 30 lakh rupees a year. 30 lakh rupees in 2014, 15 probably be 60, 70 lakh rupees now. It was difficult to quit that job. And so I took 6 months to quit that job, but there was one moment where I remember it was my dad's 50th birthday. I was at his office giving a talk like this about my dad and the effect he had had on me. My dada's clinic was running as a dispensary now. He had passed, and so only the patients who came with his prescription could get medicine. At the end of the speech, a few people came up to me and said, "Hey, great speech." But my dada's nurse of 17 years came up to me with a tear in her eye and she said, "You're talking about your father's legacy, but are you going to let your dada's legacy die?" And for me, at that point, it was clear. At 24 and a half, I had nothing to lose. And so I quit my job and I took on this mantle of inheriting a clinic without a doctor, a small manufacturing facility, and a large, very effective IP of more than 100 proprietary formulations. I had no clue what it took to build an FMCG business, to build an Ayurveda business, to build a consumer products business. And so I started in offline distribution in Bombay. I had a big launch event in an auditorium like this at Taj Lands End Hotel. 300 people came to the event. 6 people in the audience decided that what I was saying meant something to them. This vision of creating a new age Ayurvedic products brand that made Ayurveda appealing and accessible to modern consumers. 6 of them signed up to be my distributors. And I thought it was amazing because in Jan 2017, I built 10 lakhs of stock in the market. And I was a finance guy, so I started building this Excel sheet. 10 lakhs, 20 lakhs, 50 lakhs, 1 crore, 5 crores. And in like 18 months, it was a $1 billion business on that Excel sheet. What I learned 3 months later was the best fiction stories are written on Excel. I went to collect money 3 months later and I got 9 lakhs worth of the 10 lakhs of stock back and 1 lakh in payment. And so all these Excel dreams went to zero. Offline distribution didn't work out for us because what I didn't realize is that I built to distributors. Distributors had to build to retailers. Retailers had to build to you. Only once you came and bought my product, I get paid, and none of you came and bought my product, so I didn't get paid any money. And I was devastated, completely hopeless, and I thought I'd massively failed because until then I'd not seen so much failure in life. And I was a good student in school. I went to a Ivy League college. I had a great job out of college. And so I'd never seen failure, but I was actually thinking back, and it's easy to say it thinking back, but I was very fortunate to face failure very early on to realize the rigor of entrepreneurship. Had I got success very early and failure later on, I wouldn't have realized how hard it is. And it is really hard, right? And at that time I remember, and I talked, as I started this conversation, about the importance of a support ecosystem. My dad is an entrepreneur. My dada was an entrepreneur. My grandmother had seen my dada build his clinic practice. My mom had seen my dad build his clinic practice. And so at that time when I shut down our offline business, I remember locking myself up in my room on a Friday and not leaving the house pretty much for the whole weekend, cancelling everything I had to do, including a trip for a friend's wedding. And at that time my family understood. They understood what I was going through. They were a massive support to sort of keep me going. I also was dating a girl at the time who, after working in the UK, had come back to India and worked in Nykaa. And so she told me, "Hey, why don't you this online thing seems to be happening. Nobody's doing Ayurveda online. Clearly there's lots of competition offline. Why don't you try Ayurveda online?" And so I told her, "Look, I can't do this alone." So I convinced her to join. We got engaged in April 2017, and in summer of 2017, my girlfriend at the time, who became my fiancée, joined. Very risky decision. Most people were against it. But I will say it turned out fine. She is now my wife and the mother to my baby. So I think it worked out for us, and I think that's when the journey of Dr. Vidyavihar really began. We pivoted to online only or digital first at that time, which is now called D2C, and we created an Ayurvedic products brand that took the ancient science of Ayurveda to modern consumers at a touch of their fingertips. Today, buying an Ayurvedic product online seems really easy. You can go to Amazon, you can go to a company's website, you can see an ad on Instagram. But in 2017, the Ayurveda industry thought what we were doing is completely ludicrous. But really what we were able to do is increase the accessibility of Ayurveda through a free consultation and high quality Ayurvedic products, not just to Bombay, Delhi, Bangalore, Hyderabad and Chennai, but to Muzaffarnagar, Anantnag, Imphal and Trichy. The biggest success, I would say, was not 5,000 orders a day, was not 2 million transacting customers, was not launching 80 products. The biggest success of Dr. Vidyavihar was in a 4-year period, taking this brand to 16,500 pin codes in India. That's 65% of India's pin codes, right? And that's the real power of the digital ecosystem. That's the power of what you can do in a short period of time with a startup. I was fortunate to raise capital from RP Sanjeev Goenka Group. I raised 1 round of funding in June 2019, 15 CR. And then eventually, as the business scaled, we reached pole position, largest Ayurveda brand online. And then this thing called COVID hit all of us in 2020. While it was stressful and difficult for most people, and it was for us as well. For our business, it was a very good time. We were number 1 in Ayurveda online. everyone was buying everything online. So our business grew 7 times in 1 year in 2020. In December 2020, we had a strange call from our investors where they said, we want to buy your business. We want to completely acquire it. It's going really well. But I think this is the time that we feel we can pay up for it. And after this, it will grow too big. And so in 4.5 years or 5 years, at age 29, I had the offer to sell my business completely. The first time I heard this conversation, I was like, no chance. My family's name is on the door, so I can't leave this. But as we reflected, and you know, I think very important part of being an entrepreneur is having a mirror and being humble to reality, right? While you may outwardly portray huge ambition and huge amount of sort of disruption and goal setting, on the inside you have to have either yourself or someone who's this mirror to you to tell you, hey, this is how it really is, right? And when we were doing 8 CR a month in sales on our website and through marketplaces, what we started feeling was resistance. Resistance that the online business cannot grow massively from here. Is there the ability to build Dr. Vedyas to 80 crore, 100 crore a month business online? No. So the next leg of growth, and there was a lot of growth left for the business, was offline. Clearly we were not the right people to take the business offline. And so I think we sat in front of the mirror, wrote down the pros and cons, and said, if this business needs to go forward and really take forward my grandfather's legacy in the right way, we may not be the right people. And so we humbly accepted that that we are not the custodians of this business going forward. And I'm talking about it in a few sentences here, but it was the hardest decision I made in my life. And we decided in early 2021 to sell the business, exit the business. We handed over the business till April 2021. And in April 2021, I was free to play table tennis at 2 p.m. on a Wednesday afternoon. I had absolutely nothing to do in life. I was able to exit my business, sell my business, make a large outcome, fulfill my one dream to buy a home in the same building as my parents. And that's what entrepreneurship has allowed me to do. But I had sort of nothing to do in life other than that, right? And I think at that time, my dad said something very interesting to me. He said, very few of us get the chance in life to pause. And so pause, reflect, and move forward, but use this time very well. And so at that time, we were facing the second sort of wave of COVID. And so our dreams to travel the world went to zero. And both my wife and I said, okay, we have some time. Let's spend time helping entrepreneurs pro bono. We give 12 hours on our calendar on a weekly basis as office hours to entrepreneurs. That led to some capital which we invested into the startup ecosystem, now 100 plus angel investments. And I started enjoying the ability to create not one Dr. Vedyas, but hopefully with my experience and some capital, the next hundreds of Dr. Vedyas. Now made more than 100 angel investments, run a VC fund that invests in the consumer ecosystem, but more so really excited, bullish, and eager to see what the future holds for us. I can tell you I've been in India for 10 years now. Since I was in college, or since I've come back from college, I've never seen vibrance, excitement, and enthusiasm the way we have today. Before coming here, I was in the gym, and every day, every second day that I go to the gym, my trainer and me break down the Shark Tank pitches from the few days before, right? And that really shows how mainstream what we're doing has gotten. When I started, I remember my grandmother questioning, even though I was taking forward her husband's legacy, her late husband's legacy, whether it was prudent to let go of a 30 lakh rupee salary to start up. And I'm glad I did what I did, and it turned out well for me. So I think there is a different level of energy, enthusiasm, and excitement towards what each of us are doing. And to all of you, I have one message. Right? There is no time better to build in India than now. Fortunately for us, most of us have the prime of our career ahead of us. And so really excited to see what all of you have to show at the Makers Mela. I'm excited to interact with you, meet with all of you. And I wanted to say one thing as I end, right? I think I was just reflecting on what Sameer ji said about creating a culture, an environment that's beyond education, creating an environment of excellence, an environment of learning. I went to the US for my undergrad in 2009. I came back in 2013. I now have a 1-year-old kid. And just seeing things like this, seeing spaces like this, and seeing institutions like this, I hope and I pray that by the time my daughter is 17 or 18 and she has to go to college, she'll be very much in India and not have to go abroad. Thank you so much, guys, for listening to me, and thank you so much for inviting me to speak to all of you.
Thank you, Mr. Arjun Vaidya. Your energy, your enthusiasm was certainly contagious. It's infectious, and I'm sure we should all just take that as much as possible. It is amazing to learn, as you highlighted, how we are going back to our roots, yoga, Ayurveda, and even Vedic system of education and the Gurukul system. So we are so proud that we are aware of our strengths and we want to build it further. I also loved when Mr. Arjun shared his story of failure, and it certainly gives us a kind of confidence. Yes, failures are a part of life, they're part of growing up, and they're very much synonymous with entrepreneurship. So, entrepreneurs sitting out here, do you believe in this? Do you agree? Have you felt failures? Have you experienced failures? Louder? So I think now we are all inspired to keep, our determination strong and keep moving forward. I think hearing to Mr. Arjun's story, we are all definitely very inspired. And another thing that I loved about him was when he shared about creating the ecosystem. And I cannot agree enough that yes, it takes a village to raise entrepreneurs. And we are glad that we have Riddle and the Makers Mela for all our entrepreneurs. So a huge round of applause to Riddle, Makers Mela, and all the entrepreneurs and all of you sitting out here. So now may we request the dignitaries to please be seated there in the auditorium. Now we would like to formally inaugurate the 9th edition of Makers Mela event. So as they are setting up the stage, I think I can speak a little more on entrepreneurship now. So when I say, okay, what are some synonyms for entrepreneurs or entrepreneurship, I would say collaboration, a lot of critical thinking, original thinking, failures of course, and rising up from your failures, learning from the failures and keep moving ahead. So there's so much to learn today. And of course, I also loved about the part where we say, oh, we reflect. A lot of decision making is what I heard when Mr. Vaidya was sharing about his journey. So yes, I think all of this is so critical as we get into our entrepreneurial journey. Let's formally inaugurate the Makers Mela event. Another round of applause you want? Yes, a formal one. Apologies for the time mismatch. Alright. So now we have two very special guests who have developed a revolutionary product. These are our youngest entrepreneurs in today's Maker Melas, the two brothers who are 9-year-olds. The name is Anay Ramakrishnan and Abir Ramakrishnan, and they are from Central Point International School, Nagpur. I'm truly excited and glad to really hear from them and really see what they have developed. Can we all welcome the two kids?
What if we say a child is a born entrepreneur? What if we say a child is a born problem solver? As a child, we have all learned from failures. A child is encircled with curiosity, creativity, innovation, and problem solving. be it while playing a game of football or building and flying a paper aeroplane. A child is even a good negotiator and a deal maker. He knows how to convince his parents for his cartoon time and video games. Anand, do you agree?
Yes, absolutely. This is what if I told you this is our second startup, Inverse AI, which is on a mission to immortalize humans. It can even make time travel possible. And let's say it will take you to the Jurassic Age and you can meet the dinosaurs up close and personal.
Namaskar and good evening. I'm Abhi Ramakrishnan and here's my twin brother and co-founder, Anna Ramakrishnan. William Wordsworth once famously said, "A child is a father of a man." Today we are here to paraphrase this. The child is the father of an entrepreneur.
Children are always bubbling with ideas. Their ideas often come from all sides, left, right, and center. So you might find some of our ideas outright hilarious, like creating a mother and a father robot who could replace our parents at office so that our real mother and father can have more fun with the kids. Our stint in entrepreneurship started when we were 3. We sold healthy snacks made out of lotus seeds. We named it Pop Khana. Perhaps we were bitten by an entrepreneurial bug. Look at the sheer happiness of small wins. Folks, the journey is important than the destination. Another idea was born during COVID times. We made frugal COVID bed using cardboard. It was easy to install anytime, anywhere.
Something orbit-shifting happened when we turned 7. My co-founder Anna and I had been to a week-long camp. Camp had only basic facilities like food, clothes, books, to name a few. It moved us deeply. We wanted to do something about it. For the next few weeks, we were insanely focused on building a tech platform and a marketplace where donors and beneficiaries can connect together just by a click of a button. Happy to share, we have already benefited 25,000 underprivileged children, reduced more than 500,000 kgs of poverty. Our second startup is Inverse AI. We are Inverse AI on a mission to immortalize humans. We lost our grandmother when we were just 1, and a maternal grandfather who was a doctor succumbed to COVID. Life is finite. Every one of us has to die one day. When we used to see their photos, we used to think, how can we talk to them? How can we interact with them? Why can't we bring them back to life? If not physically, why not digitally? Imagine if we could immortalize our loved ones by creating their digital avatar and having them around us whenever
Yes,
we miss
my
them.
dear, an egg and a beer. I know the agony of COVID. I can understand the pain of millions of people who lost their families due to this pandemic. My blessings are with you and Inverse AI to have found a solution to such a burning need for the humanity.
Another super exciting use case is in the education sector. For more than 1,000 years, since Oxford and Cambridge were founded, education pedagogy has been teachers reciting and students taking notes and learning. Imagine if we could make education more immersive and gamified. Imagine if we could time travel to 1905 and meet Albert Einstein and learn the quantum theory all in an immersive and gamified way.
Ever pondered how a simple beam of light could unlock the secrets of the universe? Intrigued by the mysteries of space and time? Join me, Albert Einstein, on inverse AI as we embark on a thrilling journey through the wonders of physics and unravel the cosmos together.
This is a product demo.
Greetings, dear learners. How are you doing today? I'm your mentor, Amara AI, your coach and guide for today's learning journey. Can you guess the genius behind the invention that...
This is how like iconic leaders would teach the students. Our business model is B2C for Avatar and B2B2C for EdTech. And our revenue model is freemium model and subscription model. We were appreciated by our Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji in our Global AI Summit. हम भारत AI भारत GPT बना रहे हैं.
आज G5 के माध्यम से AI नेतृत्व में भारत को वैश्विक मंच पर लाकर प्रस्तुत किया है.
हम भारत AI भारत GPT बना रहे हैं. इस पॉडकास्ट पे स्वामी विवेकानंद के साथ और सरदार वल्लभ भाई पटेल. Something awesome happened in our lives last year. We successfully completed mini MBA in entrepreneurship from Thai Silicon Valley, and it was a child's play. You want to know how? Well, Anaya, why don't you share that story? Yes. So the professors were from Ivy League schools like UC Berkeley and Harvard, to name a few, and we were super surprised by what they taught. They said to be curious, and curiosity is key to innovation. Aren't we children naturally curious? Aren't they the most curious beings on earth? Don't we children bug you folks with a bunch of questions all the time? They said an entrepreneur should be insanely focused on building a tech platform. I asked my brother, isn't that what we keep on doing daily? Building structures, using Lego, nothing else matters. We went skip food and sleep. They said an entrepreneur fails fast, fails deep, and celebrates failures. We said children learn a lot from failures, whether it's falling off a bicycle and getting back on. They said an entrepreneur should take risks. We do this all the time. Abhi, do you remember when we jumped in the pool without knowing how to swim? They said that an entrepreneur should have a great sense of urgency. You will all agree. If a child wants to say something, it means now, not later. And finally, they said to be happy. The journey is important than the destination. That's precisely how a child leads every moment of his life, always happy. Don't you think so, folks? That pretty much sums up why a child is a father of an entrepreneur. Every child is an entrepreneur. With the support, mentoring, and encouragement, we can make India the #1 startup and innovation nation in the world. India became the most populous country, and entrepreneurship is the most powerful tool to convert this demographic disaster into a demographic dividend. We need more job givers than job seekers. Thank you all for being such a lovely and engaging
Wonderful. I'm simply spellbound and amazed by hearing both of you. What a confidence, what a problem-solving ability displayed right here on the stage. I think a thundering round of applause to the proud parents as well. May I request the parents to please stand up? I think this is brilliant. I think maybe next Makers Mela we should invite you for a speech and tell us what went right. What are the ingredients to raise such successful children? Wonderful. Thank you, Ane and Abir, and congratulations and wish you all the best. We wish you come here every year and inspire us and share your success stories with us. Thank you.
We have a just small one message from Swami Vivekananda.
Sure, please go ahead.
My dear young makers, in the vibrant land of Bharat, where the eternal river of wisdom flows with the relentless pursuit of knowledge, you stand at the precipice of a new dawn. You, the youth, the innovators, the dreamers of today, are the architects of the future India. Your spirit, infused with the ancient wisdom of our sages and the vibrant energy of youth, holds the promise to lead our motherland to unparalleled heights. Arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. Let these words be your guiding light as you embark on the journey to innovate, to build, to serve. Let not the fear of failure deter your path, for it is through our failures that we forge the keys to success. Each setback is a lesson, each challenge an opportunity to grow stronger and wiser. In your quest for innovation, let service be your underlying motive. Build not just for the markets, but for the millions who yearn for a touch of hope, for solutions that uplift their lives. Let your innovations be the harbinger of change, bridging gaps and knitting the fabric of our society stronger and more inclusive. And in your journey, remember, you are not alone. Collaboration, unity, and mutual respect are the bedrocks upon which great endeavors are built. Together, you are invincible. Support each other, for in the success of your brethren lies your own. In this vibrant Maker-Mela gathering, artisans, scientists, and dreamers unite. They forge ideas into reality like alchemists turning base metal into gold. Here, the spirit of innovation dances, and India's destiny unfurls. To the young innovators of India, I say this: the future is yours to shape. Let your innovations be the legacy you leave for generations to come. Let the light of your creativity illuminate the path to a new India, an India that leads the world not just in technology and economy, but in humanity, in peace and in harmony. The destiny of India rests in your capable hands. प्यारे बच्चों, अमृतकाल
That's just so wonderful. I just can't imagine children sitting in the classes learning history from the people who were actually there in that times. This is definitely revolutionary. So well done. A thundering round of applause one more time. So thank you so much. I think one word that I heard a lot today, one word that would really stay with me is a big C of collaboration. I heard everywhere since in everyone's speech. So I think one thing that will take ahead, and I'm pretty sure that no one can stop India from becoming one of the most powerful economy in years to come. So thank you so much, Ani and Abir. You can please take your seat. This was just wonderful and awesome, and I'm now pleased to invite Ms. Pooja Borwankar, Program Manager at Riddle, to extend a heartfelt note of thanks. Ms. Pooja.
Thank you for the introduction, Megha. Hello everyone, good morning. Firstly, I'd like to congratulate all the makers who are present here for embracing a maker within you and becoming a part of 9th edition of Maker Mela. So I'll quickly share what the 3 days of the event looks like. Today, as soon as the inauguration ceremony is wrapped up, the Makers Expo will begin in the Gargi Plaza. In the evening, 6 p.m. onwards, we have a fun Makers Night organized with lots of networking activities at the Somaiya School Auditorium. Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., we'll begin again with the Makers Expo with denim upcycling workshop happening at 2 p.m. in Riddle 520 Bhaskaracharya building. On the last day, that is 14th of February, we have a pitching session at 10 a.m. followed by award distribution and closing ceremony. There are plenty of activities planned for you in the span of these 3 days. So just ensure to make the most out of these opportunities, network with each other and try to build strong connections. Above all, remember to have fun, inspire, and uplift your fellow makers. Lastly, just taking a moment to thank everyone who has been part of this incredible journey and made all this possible, right from Sri Somaiya, Mr. Gauram Shetty, Mr. Amit Yadav, the entire Riddle team, student volunteers, and all the makers who are present here from different parts of the country. Also, a huge thank you to our sponsors and partners, Department of Science and Technology, Government of India, Maharashtra State Innovation Society, Kotak Mahindra Bank, ATE Chandra Foundation, Godavari Biorefineries, the Somaiya School, Jaina Packaging, Haldiram, Farmlay, CII, FACT Foundation, Innovation Mission Punjab, SPAC, and 24/7. Thank you for supporting us and being a part of this global maker journey. Here's to a fantastic 3 days ahead of Makers Mela 9th edition. Enjoy. Thank you.
Now you can proceed to the formal Makers Mela Expo, and I'm quite confident you're going to have a great time. And if this was just the beginning.
एक मिनट बंद कर ना
Excuse me, sir.